Is she still alive? Yeah. James Kim in it. Right, you got it. I thought that was the actress. I can't remember which movie she was in. Some years ago to that. Yes. That's fun. What's your last name, Kim? What did you do? You're not retired. You're still working. Why not? For the big
Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to begin the service. Can I ask everyone to put your cell phones to silent mode? This time, if I could ask everyone to please rise as the family comes in. We're going to have everyone continue to stand because honors will be given in just a moment in the Marine Corps. Ira was a very proud member of the U.S. Marines, and so before the service begins, he's going to be given the honors from the U.S. Marine Corps. Please remain standing. If you're a veteran, when they play taps, please salute and put your hand over your heart. You may be seated.
When, excuse me, Jacob hears that his beloved son Joseph is dead, even though that is not true, his reaction is one of course, inner destruction. And in order to mirror the way he felt inside with his outside visage, he took his garments and rent them. I'm going to ask our mourners to please rise or cry out.
Diana, Ahmed. Mourning is the price we pay for having the courage to love others. Even in grief, we know that the wonder of human life is complex, too magnificent, to be memorialized in endless pain. The gifts of spirit our loved ones gave us cannot be measured or weighed, nor can they be long tarnished by time. Even in our darkest hours, we know that some of their light and their warmth will always be with us, bringing comfort and courage and, in the fullness of time, healing and peace. And the child asks, "Tell me of life." And the sage answers, "Life, my child, is a mystery. We do not ask to be born, nor do we even understand the meaning of birth or of creation. We grow, and we experience life's pleasures. We love, and slowly, or so slowly, we come to realize that we have become, that we are. At that, humble ourselves before the mystery of life and quietly say, though I knew it not, I have been granted the most precious gift of all, the gift of life." And the child asked, "Tell me." And the sage answered, "Death, my child, is a mystery. It is the inevitable return of the gift of life, the gift which came free to us. We live as a trust of that mysterious being, of that unexplainable becoming. Yes, you and I are but trustees of life. We nurture it, we delight in it, we give it to others. And at the appointed time, we sadly, yet with pride, return it from whence it came. Beauty, my child, is that what we are, what we have, remains long after that gift was returned. It remains a priceless, precious keepsake with our loved ones who live on. Our angels spend most of their time sleeping. In their dreams, they're told to tear down the new houses by the sea and build old ones in their place. No matter how long they may sleep, 100, 200 years, 10 centuries is not too much. The first to wake up takes the torch that has been handed down, adds a drop of oil to the light, blesses the eternal light, and then recalls the name of every other angel. And one by one, they are remembered. They wake up. For them, as it is for us, there is nothing more beautiful. It's a fearful thing to love what death can touch. A fearful thing to love, to hope, to dream, to be, and oh, to lose. A thing for fearlessness, and a holy thing to love. For your laugh has lived in me, your life has lived in me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. It is a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death can touch. But I only let star be more shall say, on a man heart, in the inside, would you please join with me in reading the 23rd Psalm? The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh glad in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in his straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies.
Thou hast anointed my head.
My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Ira was such a vibrant, passionate, loving, fun man to be around. So filled with life, so filled with spirit, and so precious. Everybody here in the room, all sorts of different ways. We have several people who are going to speak on behalf of the mourning and the loss we all feel. First, Sai Barshesh, then Sam Barshesh, then son and his wife, Iris. Sai.
When my mom first, she was dating a guy named Ira, I was like, oh, Ira's an Ira, that's gonna be funny. And you know, they used to send invitations to their house, and it was Shay I and I, which I thought was kind of like a little cringe, but also really cute, you know? Because I think it was indicative of like a real deep love that they had for one another. And when I look back, it's the kind of love that like I hope I find one day, and I think that like all are, any of us who experience it, like are grateful for every moment of it. I remember one of the first conversations I had was like pretty deep and introspective about life and like my sexuality and stuff like that. And I remember coming away from thinking like this is a really thoughtful, emotionally intelligent, wise and graceful person, and that carried through to my entire experience with Ira. We always really enjoyed a healthy debate, and sometimes we didn't agree. Most of the time we did, but even when we disagreed, I always came away from it feeling respected, that my intelligence and my perspective just all around great dad. So I never needed another one, but I was lucky enough to have another father. And I feel blessed to tell Ira that I thought of him in that way. A couple of years ago, we shared a really nice moment, and he shared the same sentiment with me. He was a father to me in his way, in my adulthood, and I'm grateful for that relationship. I'm also just grateful that he and my mother found each other when they did, and that they were able to share such beautiful years together and had so much fun together, even to the last. They were Mexico. I will miss him. I will miss coming home to this apartment and having him be like, "Hey, you look good. You want to do a shot or a joint or whatever?" Both. And he's just a really good man, and I think that in these really crazy, weird, dark times that we're living in, if we could all be a little more like Ira, we would be able to get along a little bit better. I don't know anybody that didn't love him or care about him in a profound way. He's one of those people where if somebody did that, you'd be like, "What's with you?" So yeah, I think if we could all be a little bit more like Ira, maybe we'd be in it better. Thank you.
Hi everyone. Sorry, that was amazing. I want to second size emotion that, when your parent gets remarried when you're, in my case, close to mid-30s, you don't often start to recognize your stepdad. Often it would be my mom's husband or something, but we can let that phone. But yeah, that was an easy thing for me to call, because he always, we said I love you to each other, and my biggest takeaways from Ira are two things that are going to stick with me in my life. One, he said, he had adopted the mentality. A friend of his told him one time was that, you're going to wake up every day, you can expect a little crap, and if you look at life that way, you can take the good with the bad, and he said, his friend was successful in life, and Ira was very successful in life, and not just in a business sense. He was successful in the fact that he had an amazing attitude his entire life. He was loving, and the second thing, tying into the second thing that I always take from him is that he proved that you can evolve, learn, and always have a positive and embrace change. He had many careers. And he stayed vibrant until the end. And in this world where everything changes so drastically more and more with technology and just everything, he's an inspiration, because some people, maybe many people, do their one thing and then the world kind of moves on and it's sad, or they have a bitter attitude, and he found love, in his 60s. He married my mom, and he had a kid when he was 40. And that's a real inspiration to me too, because I had my son who was 41 when I was 41. And Mike is such an amazing guy. He gave me condolences. I've been like, Ira's son lives in Chicago and he totally has his stuff together. So until we get there, and even after, my mom's gonna be in great hands. And I hope my son. It's good if the guy's good. I'll just end it saying that Benny's lucky to have a lot of grandparents, but his favorite word to say is pops, and that was I. Keep saying it, Benny.
Sharing stories, I want to speak about my childhood.
childhood. Unconventional. He had to raise me in very unconventional, in a very unconventional sense. He was a single father, and got he fought his ass off to get full custody of me at a very young age, which is not an easy process, but it was very rightfully done, and I really thank him for that, because I mean it helped me become the man that I am today. And that process, and like going through that process, and being a kid and witnessing it, very unique bond, and I mean, like, because of that bond, it drew us closer together. I think more so than most father and sons, and I mean, because of that, he was my father. Not only was he my father, but he was my psychiatrist and my friend, and and I'm just really gonna miss him a lot. Thank you.
I will not be so short. It's really nice to see out here. I would be very happy to see the sanctuary full of people who loved him. Timing is everything. Ira and I grew up not far from each other. In fact, he lived a block away from my close friends in high school. But he went to and we went to Senate, and so our paths never crossed. We both took art lessons in high school near Devon and Clark, but not quite at the same time. Ira used to tell me that he wished we met in the 70s. And I half-laughingly said, I wouldn't have talked to you. I was a Marine, and I was an anti-war protester. In the 80s, I owned a punk rock bar on the northwest side called Circuits. Some of you know it. It is listed in the Chicago Bar Project website as Wrong But Not Forgotten. While I was listening to The Cure and The Clash, I was in Wilmette, 2 young children, listening to Big Bird and West Lodge. Decades passed, and in 2009 I was divorced, and I was liberated. After 5 years on JA, and some of you can do this, meeting and dating inappropriate men, I decided to stop looking and just start. As fate would have it, I met a new friend who was temporarily in Chicago while in medical school. She had met Ira professionally, again, only briefly, but apparently felt attracted to him. Shortly after we met, she had a barbecue, and she invited Ira and his wife. He wrote back and said he was separated and wouldn't come along. Our friend Diane was dramatic. She then emailed me and said, I don't care what you are doing on Saturday. You must come to my barbecue and meet your future. I had no part of that. But I left early, and I showed up at Diane's around 9 p.m. Ira and I sat and talked for about 2 or 3 hours, and I had no idea who else was there. This time, and I had met my future, my machine. Ira has made my life so much better. He loved me, and he was proud of what I had done. He was my biggest fan. truly have never felt like this. And he had a big heart with room for others. It wasn't only me. He was such a devoted father. He loved Michael to the ends of the earth. And he loved his inherited sons, my boys, Sam and Cy, as if they were his own. He was proud of all of his sons. He was a most loving man. There isn't anyone who didn't like Ira. Maybe one or two. So many people have written me over the past few days how wonderful man he was. I think I made Ira's life better too. People have reached out telling me that we were a perfect match. We were meant to be together. We lived surrounded by art. We both loved live music. We enjoyed symphony, jazz, blues, and some rock and roll. Fortunately for me, Ira was no longer a punk rock. We're both artists. There is a painting of Ira's in the foyer on the way to the luncheon afterwards. I was envious of his imagination. He created his mind, not even necessarily from memory. We loved going to art fairs, open studios, and the Art Institute. I loved collecting art from our travels and from our friends and artists. I had great taste and a great eye. His touch is all over our condo. Sometimes I would slip and say our apartment, which drove him nuts. It's like a house. He transformed my nice condo into a beautiful home, and it became a place where we did great parties. I would love to entertain, always in style, and with the best taste. And as much as Greystone in Wicker Park, which was where he lived when we met, he loved our home lake. We took walks and rode bikes on the lakefront trail. We loved eating or having a drink at the beachfront restaurants. I would love him. He read a lot and is knowledgeable about Chicago history and architecture. One of our favorite things to do was the annual Open House Chicago. Every year we so enjoyed exploring different neighborhoods. We usually went with friends, but we, mostly Ira, were always the players. Ira loved all history, not just Chicago. One of his dreams was to go to Italy and see Herculaneum and Pompeii. In 2019, I planned a 2-week trip to Italy, to Rome and the Amalfi Coast. We went in style. Ira only stayed in nice hotels, preferably in a suite. He loved it, and it was a special gift that I had given him. Before the trip, his favorite city in Europe was Paris. It was also the only city in Europe. After that trip, it was Rome. We traveled a lot, both inside the U.S. and out. We drove to California along Route 66, visited New York, Washington, Seattle, San Francisco, Michigan, and of course took many trips to Long Beach and LA, which is where Betty lives, which is with his parents. We had a wonderful week in Costa Rica where we zip-lined over the rainforest. Last time we went to Spain, Ira got sick towards the end in Barcelona, but he still loved that trip. But the place we kept going back to was and the villages around Banderas Bay. He loved the area, the ocean, relaxation, beauty, and of course the restaurants. That leads me to his retirement career. Ira left the state of Illinois in 2020 with COVID. We spent a lot of time together, so I was sequestered in the house like everyone else. Once things opened up, 2 of our neighbors, male neighbors, started going out for breakfast once a week. They invited Ira, and the group grew to include 5 guys. Soon, Ira was in charge of finding the restaurants for breakfast. He introduced the group to breakfast places from around the city and the suburbs. He was a great researcher and found new and obscure places for breakfast. They all enjoyed his choices, and I have no idea where the guys are going to go now that Ira will not be making restaurants. I love to cook. He was a cook in the Marine Corps and was immensely proud of that. We cooked together when we entertained, and most famously, we made homemade gefilte fish. It was to die for. Recently, I started a group for the Ravenswood Community Services. He was proud to be helping the less fortunate. When I met Ira, he was a director in the Department of Banks for the state of Illinois. After 25 years in the mortgage industry, he was hired by the state to initiate the Anti-Predatory Lending Database. That is a long name for a program designed to ensure people did not get mortgages that they didn't understand. He was also working in financial services and helped people stay in their homes and deal with fraud. He felt he was giving back, and he was. We have an electric photo frame that was given as a gift by the family of a veteran who had been. He saved their house for them, and as a thank you, they gave him this electronic photo frame. It's out in the foyer. The inscription on the first photo is this, and I think in these times it's really important to hear this message. A hero is a person who fights for the weak and has love and compassion for other human beings. Mr. Ira Tangy, our hero. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for helping us keep our home. Thank you for honoring our daughter's memory. Ira, you were my hero. I am so proud of the person you were. You touched many lives, but mostly mine. You changed my life forever. We packed a lot into 15 and a half, but it wasn't long enough. And in the end, your heart was just not strong enough. I am grateful for the time we had together. There is a hole in my heart that I won't have. I love you forever.
Do not think that relationships end in death. They don't. Sure, they're wildly different, and not exactly the way we want. They're not over. The music remains. The sound of Ira's voice, that little bit of gravelly something, a little flash Chicago 80, the laugh, where his whole self lit up. Doesn't dissipate. It remains, but it remains in us. Size, you said something so profound. You said, let's be more like Ira. Let's. That's how we're going to bring Ira into the world. We're going to not just remember him, but we're going to act as he did in his highest moments. We're going to help, maybe not at a community kitchen, but somebody else. We're going to love fear and wholly and completely. And we're going to embrace every day as if you might eat a little bit of crap, but you also might have a lot of drink. The poet, Mary Oliver, wrote this from her poem entitled, When Death Comes. When death comes, I want to step through that door full of curiosity and wonder. What is it going to be like, that cottage of darkness? And therefore I look upon everything as a brotherhood and a sisterhood. And I look upon time as no than an idea. And I consider eternity as another possibility. And I think of each life as a flower, as common as a field daisy and a sea, and each name of comfortable music in the mouth, tending as all music does towards silence, and each body a line of courage and something precious to the earth. When it's over, I want to say all my life, I was a bride married to amazement. I was the bridegroom taking the world into my arms. When it's over, I don't want to wonder if I have made my life something particular and real. I don't want to find myself sighing and frightened or full of argument. I don't want to end up simply in this world. We can be sure of that. As we each speak into our hearts, we invite you to rise physically or spiritually for the El Olema. Please read with me inside of your booklets. Compassionate God, eternal spirit of the universe, grant me perfect rest in your sheltering presence. Ira, who is entered eternity. O God of mercy, find refuge in your eternal presence, and let his soul be bound up in the bond of your everlasting life. God is his inheritance. Rest in peace. Let us bless him. Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all of you who are briefly among us, as we all.
In addition to the full sanctuary today, there was devices signed on, sometimes even more, so we probably had another 50, 60 people with us. The family has asked that the following pallbearers, Sai Shabbat, I'm sorry, Mitchell Tangy, Wayne Citron, Ryan Koss,
Yes.
Michael Heimlich, Ted Mello,
Ted
I apologize, Chris Young, Aaron Brook, and Alan Mello. At this time, if everyone would please rise. Pallbearers are going to bring the casket out from the sanctuary to the hearse. There is not going to be a procession though. You'll go back. There's a reception in the back room. The family has invited everybody back to join them. Also, there's Shiva information on the inside pamphlets of your folder of where they will be receiving people tomorrow evening, Sunday, and Monday. Pallbearers, please come forward. Sai, why don't you take the end? Gentlemen, let go. No. Sai can take the end. I want to go the long way. Everyone else just reform over here. I think you gotta let us go through because it's too narrow. And then open the door. Yeah, also, sorry, we're gonna have to do where it's just you and me at the end. But, sir, if you'd open that door, please. Gentlemen, you're gonna have to let go while Si and I just bring it through the door. Careful, both sides. It's gonna be about 10 minutes.
I'll grab my coat and I'll back you out.
Oh, okay, I could probably do a turnaround. a ramp over there. Okay, let's start going to the left, please. Continue to bring it forward. Gentlemen, at this time I want you all to lift. Lift the casket. You want to place it up on the roller. Gentlemen, in the front, start let it go. Lower it a little bit as you push it in. Keep holding on. Keep pushing. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Yeah. Randy, you can shut off the camera. Top right, there's an X.